Hi, my name is Hannah Bode. This sheep brain dissection is for A&P Lab Summer 2023, and I'm just going to outline the structures of the sheep brain that I have dissected, starting with the cerebrum. This is the main portion of the brain. So now we're looking at the cross-section view, or and you can see where the the septum pellucidum is here in the middle, and then you have the third ventricle space, and then down here is the fourth ventricle space, and then behind this is the first and second ventricles and how they all interconnect and how the CSF flows through them. And I think one thing that's really interesting is how the I'm looking for the right word here, sorry, cerebral aqueduct keeps it from backing up. And I thought it was really interesting how the brain makes 20 mils or 20 mils of fluid, CSF is made every hour, and that's a lot of fluid, and where does it all go? And obviously there's a lot of circulating space in the brain and the spinal cord, but that's pretty neat. Just looking at here in the middle is the midbrain between the thalamus and the pons, and that region is full of important nerve tracts. And then the dorsal areas are responsible for visual and auditory stimulus, the main part of it. And then this is obviously it's cut in half, but the frontal lobe is in the front, and then the parietal lobe is posterior to that, and then the temporal lobes are down here on the side, and then the occipital is this rear portion. And then what you can see on the dorsal side of this is the cerebellum and part of the brainstem. And what I thought was really cool was obviously all of this part, but looking at the cross section, you can see the gray matter versus the white matter and how it's interspersed in the tissues, as well as all of the lines that go throughout. Some other things that I noticed are the grooves on the sulci on the outside, the grooves. I think that's really interesting. Why is the brain like that? Of all the different textures it could be, it's like this. What you can see on the bottom portion is the olfactory bulb. Obviously it's cut in half now, but that is part of the smelling sensations and how that processes through to the brain. Looking at under the ventricle, on the bottom you can see the medulla and where the spinal cord would attach if it was there. The central canal is here in the middle. The midbrain is kind of here in the middle, if you will. And then you can see as this goes up, the hypothalamus is here, and the branch of the optic nerve is right here. And then what I thought probably my favorite part of this, because I was kind of not looking forward to this, to be totally honest, was seeing these, the arbor vitae in real life, because the pictures don't do it justice, and it kind of reminds me of the bronchioles in the lungs, and it's cool to me that there's a similar structure in the brain that has a completely different function.